Hey everyone, welcome to Founders 365 with me, Steven Haggerty. Today, I'm joined by Seth Estrada, founder of MineYourBiz. How you doing today, Seth?
Hey, I'm doing great, Stephen. Thanks for having me on the show.
Good, man. I've just realized, because we're using Zoom and not StreamYard, our videos are around the other way, which is very confusing for me.
Oh.
It's like a first world problem, I know.
Well, I mean, hey, if you ever come to visit me, you'll have the same problem behind the wheel, right? And
There we go.
where am I going?
Practice. This is just practice.
Everyone's driving at me. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
What am I doing? I need to go home. Anyway, Seth, let me first and foremost ask you, what is it you do, man?
Wow. It's a
big question.
It is a big question, but to sum it up as best I can, what I do is solve IT related problems for tech startups. And then more increasingly in the last couple of years, tech startups that are focused on blockchain and cryptocurrency.
Ooh.
I hadn't anticipated that would be the direction my career would go, but in the 2017 cryptocurrency bull run, I found a huge opportunity for me with my background in tech training for sales and marketing. So yeah, the ability to distill really complex concepts into a 4 or 8 hour classroom for clients like Microsoft or Google came in very handy at that time when people were trying to wrap their heads around questions like, what is Bitcoin? So
is Bitcoin a scam?
Yeah. Finding short answers without giving official advice, right? Without dealing in securities advice. Exactly. So that was,
surely the first thing you say to any client is like, just don't Google it. That's
basically
all you do. Just don't Google it, and we're going to get on great.
Yeah, that's about right.
Isn't it true? Like the creator of Bitcoin doesn't even is like unknown.
Correct. Yeah, correct. So there
fancy
so much speculation.
Pokemon name.
Yeah, yeah. They so the pseudonym is Satoshi Nakamoto, right?
Yeah,
for the creator of Bitcoin, and there are so many different theories, right, regarding whether Satoshi is a man or a woman or a group
or
of
even
people
real
or the NSA. Right?
Yeah,
so
it could even be a bot.
It's true. Some people believe that Satoshi Nakamoto is actually the consciousness that was spawned from the internet.
Oh, wow. So, but I'm just imagining this like 14-year-old kid living his best life going, hey, I created this thing and I'm not going to tell my parents. I'll get in trouble.
It's entirely possible. There's a cryptocurrency creator from, oh gosh, he's going to kill me when he finds out that I've completely forgotten where he's from.
I'm going to purposely send him this now.
Yeah, right. This poor kid, Miles Manley. He's from the countryside somewhere. I think on the West End. But this kid's brilliant. And he got involved when he was 14 and has created this massive international movement. And just thought you should know. Great minds come from your side of the world. I'm sure you're aware of this.
Yeah, of course. But it is quite interesting, just as that age-related topic comes up, how many younger people are starting businesses now, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And I mean, I started young, but it was just like website and graphic design and selling CDs in a playground.
Sure. This kid was flipping. I mean, he was flipping whole servers and computer systems by that same age. And I mean, and then just he's not the only one. Like you're saying, the entrepreneurship barrier to entry. I mean, it's so low now. And so when younger kids, I mean, call them kids, you ask them, right? And they're like,
when my boss
living my best life at age 14. And you look on and think, nope, that's true. They're living a better life than I was.
Bought 7 Ferraris. He's doing good.
Yeah.
Instagram fame. That's the goal, right?
Yeah, right. Generational wealth that you can show off and maybe spend in your own lifetime.
I don't know. Seth, when you've discovered this pivot, how did that feel, and at that moment did you go, oh, this is something I can do something with, or was it much more like, oh, I'm just gonna do this one training and that's it?
Wow. At the time it didn't even feel like a Hail Mary. It didn't even feel like it was something that I was doing intentionally, rather just kind of began to talk about publicly because it was a hot topic, in the same way that we mentioned, I think, prior to the interview starting, that everyone is talking about a few specific topics right now because they're world news. Bitcoin at that time, of course, was world news based on the price action. And so speculators came in and everybody saw it. I thought, okay, well, what the heck? Topical conversation. I'll just publish some media on this. But I created something that was objective value by also having an accompanying spreadsheet that pulled in comparative data from around the world. And yeah, it just wasn't something that I really anticipated. So I rolled with that pivot when I saw, okay, the market is responding.
Mm.
And now I'm beginning to get offers from people who want to direct their investments in a way that requires some qualified input. So it was,
It's really interesting. And these are big names that you're working with, right?
some, yeah, within the cryptocurrency scene. It's kind of an interesting industry though. So blockchain infrastructure, vis-a-vis mining, it's the sort of thing that a lot of small to mid scale or small to mid capitalization investment groups would be interested in. You're not going to find, for example, whatever Barclays, they're not going to look for a consultant that will help them get into cryptocurrency mining, but you may find that there are groups of independently wealthy individuals who want to put together $5 or $10 million to start mining. And I was very much surprised that became a customer avatar for me. I just hadn't anticipated that would be the case.
And did that customer avatar come out because people were contacting you, or did you go, oh, actually that sort of niche person could be really good for this?
Kind of both, right? As soon as I realized that I was getting interest from these individuals and realized that this is something that they want to know more about, I had to start responding in kind and saying, okay, well, if there's one here, they're like cockroaches. There must be 10 more that are, once I turn the lights on somewhere else.
You're never 6 foot away. Is that it?
Yeah. Right.
Or 10 meters. I don't know what the distance is for the cockroach now, but I'm pretty sure it's probably quite close.
There's some high net worth individual in the audience right now saying, hey, he just called me a cockroach.
Yeah.
Yes,
don't worry, I love you. Please contact me and we can do some work together as well. So what I'm really curious about is how the conversation started with these guys, because for anyone that isn't in that world, blockchain, cryptocurrency is still such a gray area, even though we've gone through, like, what was it, 2017, where it really just hit the media. And then because prior to that, it was like the nerds that knew about it, right? And the small, I had Peercoin and all that kind of stuff. But then it hit mainstream media, like you said. So how was those conversations when you started speaking to those sort of high net worth individuals about blockchain and the benefit it can be to them?
It's an interesting one. I mean, Steven, first off, you bring up that you were exposed to Peercoin and perhaps had held some Peercoin. I think you've just outed yourself as one of those certified nerds. So
oh yeah,
that's great. First off,
I've literally got saved tabs about home mining systems.
Oh, great. So,
whether I do it or not, I don't know. But we'll see.
Mining is, I mean, it's a tricky proposition, right? Especially at home and even at the mid scale when you do source power and you're treating it a bit like a business. So getting involved with anyone who's just starting and they have a business interest, right? They want to know the business case and they're willing to hire a consultant to get them into that space. They're an interesting person, right? The person that would hire a consultant to then spend between 6, 7, or maybe even 8 figures in capital to get started, right? As you'd imagine, who spends that much? Well, somebody who's hot off the heels of another success, like fresh out of another business venture, where they have that capital to then spend. Maybe they're trying to, avoid sitting on some gains for too long, so they want to turn it into the next venture. So yeah, they're an interesting individual. Generally speaking, they're very new to the technology. And they are operating with a lot of trust. So like with any consulting relationship, the level of trust it's the only thing. It's not even so 100%. Much that they need to know you're an expert, but they need to know that they can trust that whatever it is you say that they should do, that they can move quickly based on your advice.
And you find there's a specific age group as well that are keen to get involved in it?
Not necessarily.
Anyone and everyone.
Yeah, pretty much. But I'll say that the younger the investor, generally speaking, the more confident they are in their ability to move forward with cryptocurrency, or dismissive. They just tend to be a lot more. Maybe it's that they're a little more cocksure, right? Because of the folly of youth, but maybe they don't actually have the hard skills that they should to feel that level of confidence. But
it's so interesting that you've really saw that potential of building out this product as the consultancy approach, because I'm sure over the years there's lots of people that do this now, and I know a couple of blockchain consultants, but they do it slightly differently. In terms of competition then, and getting those leads in, and becoming that brand of expertise effectively? How did you go about that?
Entirely word of mouth. Entirely. So publishing a bit of content on YouTube to just show or indicate rather expertise. You can't blockchain and cryptocurrency or anything that's highly technical. Yes, you want to give away value. You do. But when it comes to giving away a significant amount of value, the way one might say in copywriting, or the way one might say in any other social media or digital marketing pursuit,
Yeah.
where you know that you have to provide a lot of value, maybe on the order of 10x what you know you're going to close in business. If you do that in cryptocurrency, generally speaking, you wind up slitting your own throat because of the number of people who get involved, not selfishly, but with extremely lean means. And so they find every bit of available media and say, okay, well, this guy's got it figured out, and I'll just do what he did. And now I have a unique advantage, and I do not need to contract his services. So indicating expertise and indicating some success, it's kind of
Balancing act.
yeah, without pulling the wool over anyone's eyes, right? Creating a false image of expertise. You have to still just indicate, well, I've worked with these clients and we've had results X, Y, Z, and so we can do the same for you.
Yeah, it's like classic positioning, and then there must be a huge amount of education into it, though.
There is actually quite a bit, because you have, as you indicated before, there are some clients who come in and that customer avatar of a necessity, they don't know enough, otherwise they wouldn't be hiring you. So education is key at every step of the way.
Yeah, exactly. For you, within your business, what are you going to do with it? Where's this going? New decade, 2020, big year. What's your plan?
Oh man. Okay. You're hitting me where it hurts, because as we've noticed, with all kinds of markets just going crazy and with blood gushing into the streets, right? It's like that scene from The Shining.
Literally.
In every market, things have just gone a little bit crazy, but Bitcoin is finding some bottom support, knock on wood. And there's an upcoming technological event for both Bitcoin and some other cryptocurrencies. If you're familiar with Bitcoin, then you'll know this thing called the halving it's kind of a big deal. So preparing for that is the plan. Preparing for a resurgence of interest and assisting mining operations that maybe already exist in optimizing their operations. That's kind of where I would hope to go.
Do you often find that like at the moment we've got the coronavirus going around? Do you find that situations like this are helping your business because people are maybe looking to do more people at home, so they can find your videos and find your content and go, hey, maybe I should look into that blockchain thing, rather than being at the office all the time? Or is it gone silent for you?
There are fewer unqualified, right? Or fewer unqualified inquiries. I'll say people who are not interested in cryptocurrency right now are very much not interested in it. And people who have a financial interest in it they're desperate to find answers moving forward to help their business. So I think it's a bit of both. There's a really good sifting effect right now.
Do you think, in terms of blockchain itself, do you think there'll be a stage where every single business is involved in it at some level?
Yes, absolutely. And I think it may not have to do necessarily with cryptocurrencies or pure digital currencies. It may have more to do with something along the lines of supply chain management, or there may be some other securities and token issuance.
Yeah. How do we get to that step there? How do we get to that stage where it is literally entwined into a business? So it's almost like in a startup pack. If you were going to start a business, the blockchain is there.
That's a great question. There are a few companies that are doing great work in that field, and that they're laying the foundation now in 2020. I mean, it sounds crazy, but more than 10 years after this pseudonymous character that created Bitcoin, right? More than 10 years after they've had any social relevance, we're literally just getting started in laying the foundations for that. So supply chain management on blockchain, and then other business functions and government functions on blockchain that don't infringe fundamentally on people's rights and strike the right balance of record keeping versus sovereignty, right, of information.
Yeah.
which is so important. That thankfully the EU and Great Britain are quite good at that, much better than the United States is. It's a big deal, right? Privacy is a big deal.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
fighting for it on every level
People are
is rather
scared
important.
to email people in the UK. It's like,
Well, GDPR.
understand the GDPR rules and you'll be fine.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like, you're still allowed to email people.
At the same time, though, your Gmail account, if that's your email provider of choice, will automatically create a contact for them, and it's not perfectly GDPR compliant.
Oh, good point. How come
So,
people don't know about that?
yeah, hopefully we don't say this, make too many waves with that. I'm sure Google is already facing a number of charges.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they are. Plus, I always think if you're sending business accounts from an @gmail.com address, although actually my business emails are hosted by Gmail, they're just not @Gmail account.
Yeah,
so it's the same thing. I mean, I'm the problem. There we go. I've said it.
Yeah, right. Though to your point, branding is a pretty big deal. Like, yeah, if you are sending an email with an @Gmail account,
yeah,
then really, yeah, grow up.
Grow up, man. It's like the @hotmail.com days.
Yeah, I've still got one of those somewhere.
I was chatting to my girlfriend the other night, and we were both saying, what was the first email address? Mine was Steven Haggerty 007 @hotmail.com. And I need to find, it's still going strong, I reckon. And I'm so curious. I want to try and hack the login, discover my old email. In fact, if there's any hackers there that want to just hack my old login and send it to me, that'd be great.
Be careful. If there are any miners in the audience, they are well equipped to do so. Brute force.
There we go. Stephen Haggerty 007 @hotmail.com. It's all yours. Just if there is any outstanding PayPal in there or anything, just ping that to me and we'll call it quits. So in terms of your brand then, like the MineYourBiz brand, is that your main focus, or is this split up to a few different areas in your time?
So MineYourBiz is the primary public brand at the moment, and it is a multi-channel network. Technically, I'm just starting a podcast because of how well podcasts preserve the time of content creators. I've got a small YouTube channel associated with it. I've got several other alternate publishing platform channels that are blockchain related. But part of that has to do with testing features on behalf of the founding teams of those different platforms. So it's positioned me very well to have great conversations, in some cases privileged conversations with development teams around the world, and so I'm enjoying that. MineYourBiz is the most visible offering there, and so I am putting a lot of time into that. But as far as it being a resource for would-be cryptocurrency miners or investor groups who want to get into cryptocurrency mining, yeah, that is the contact point as well.
Yeah, that's the start of the funnel.
Yeah,
put it that way. Not bad for something you just stumbled upon, thinking, "Hey, yeah, this could be pretty good."
Yeah, I'll say 2019 was phenomenal. In terms of cryptocurrency mining, notwithstanding the relative price, like in attractiveness of price action in late 2018, 2019 was still a great year.
Yeah, and for you, we touched upon the fact that you think blockchain is going to be involved in every single business at some point, but short term, what's going to happen with it?
Wow. Yeah. Short term, I think right now, black swan events such as COVID-19, we'd hope that nobody can see them coming. Rather, I don't know. It's just, it turns everything on its ear, right?
Yeah.
We'd hope that the professionals who matter, right, in terms of crisis management and dealing with these sorts of problems, we'd hope that they'd have better plans. And at the same time, we'd hope that it doesn't affect us so badly. But here we are.
Yeah.
So with cryptocurrency in the short term and blockchain in the short term, I think, again, we're going to see a sifting effect where there will be projects of relatively weak merit that will fall by the wayside, and rightfully so. And they probably should have been shaken loose when prices turned down in late 2018, but they've been sort of clinging on for dear life. This should just put them away.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah, projects that are without merit, hopefully completely disappear. Projects that do have some merit, even though it may not have been what the traditional classification for them was vis-a-vis Bitcoin, right? Everyone's saying it's a store of value. Well, what did the Bitcoin price do in the last 3 weeks? It's clearly not a store of value. So it's certainly not pegged to anything as meaningful as, say, gold or precious metals. And then same with it being a unit of exchange, some kind of fast, meaningful unit of exchange. Well, it's really not as easy to work with as something like cash, right? If you've got £5 in your pocket, you know it's good everywhere. It's perfectly fungible. So projects like Bitcoin really don't replace cash. So answering some of those questions moving forward, Bitcoin isn't going to disappear, and similar projects, they're not disappearing. So reclassifying them into their most useful purpose, and then working with development teams and the broader community that's going to support it through mining and then of course through building other platforms and tools. Yeah, I think there's a lot of work to be done in the near term. So those projects that do remain, I think it's just going to be a joy, an absolute pleasure to work with those projects.
Although, you touched upon replacing cash there. Eventually, do you think it will?
No, I don't.
Never.
And I sincerely, I hope it doesn't ever. And here's why. I think a cashless society is a dangerous society. And if that does happen, so put this in simplest terms, if we do push for a cashless society, then even cryptocurrency can become a bit of a poison pill to privacy, where we know, for example, the IRS here in the United States, they have the means, technological and financial, to de-anonymize Bitcoin. If you use Bitcoin, I'll put it this way,
it loses its shine if it becomes...
Yes. So if Bitcoin proper, specifically, if it becomes the replacement for cash, we're no longer private.
Yeah.
So it's
well, really then something else will just replace it, right? There will always be something that will fuel the privacy side of it.
Well, I hope so, but at the same time, I don't know that that's borne out in people's in practice, right? In people's actual behaviors. So user behavior would have to change quite a bit for something like Bitcoin to functionally replace cash. So that's why I say I think if there's any way, even if we do move to something that has intrinsic value, a la precious metals, I think here in the United States prepper community and internationally, but especially here in the United States, we have pre-1964 silver dimes, right, that are 30% silver by weight. And those are just, I mean, they're amazing because you can carry a lot of silver in a small amount of space, and they're much more divisible than other forms of currency. So I think hard currency that is portable and fungible, I don't think there's ever going to be I don't think there's ever going to be a time when we don't need that.
It's such an interesting one, though, just to look through the generations about how we deal with money as well. Because, my parents, for example, always have cash on them. And I never have like physical cash, as in, those £5 in your pocket. And I never carry cash. I can't even remember the last time I had actual money in my pocket. It is just, and I don't even keep I just have a curve card, which is like all my cards on one. And it's just amazing about now, I think if I was 10 years younger, I'd probably be way more into the crypto space than I am now, because it is just it's a generational currency effectively.
I think that's probably true in large part. That's probably true. It's definitely easier than ever to put a cryptocurrency wallet on one's phone. For example, I now got to ask, Steven, do you have any cryptocurrency wallets at all on your phone?
I've got WireX.
Okay.
Oh no, that's not a wallet though, is it?
No.
Yeah, no, I don't not have a wallet then.
Okay. All right.
I used to, but then I think I lost the login again.
I'm going to leave you a challenge here. I'm going to make your life just a little bit difficult for a day, but hopefully better after all. So look up some cryptocurrency wallets. I think some good starting points would be one like Coinomi.
Yeah.
And then there's another one. It supports many different cryptocurrencies, very easy to use. And then another one that's a little less obvious is the Cash App.
Okay.
By Jack's company, the CEO of Twitter.
Yeah.
Jack's company, Square. So, but the Cash App allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin if you choose.
Oh yeah, but that's the same as WireX.
Sure.
Is WireX US or just UK?
It may just be UK.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. It's like similar. It's more. It's just even have my little WireX card here.
Okay. Oh wow.
There
it is.
Then I think, but again, it's
one
on
more
the
wallet
shelf
to look at then.
Yeah.
I look at it. Yeah, I'd
I
say
think,
look at one called Zelcore,
mm,
and that's by a company that was again founded by a 14-year-old Brit,
I need to
and
get these 14-year-olds on the podcast. That's what I need to do.
he's slaying. I'll give you the intro if you'd like. The
Yeah,
skills
that'd
is
be
thoroughly
amazing.
impressive. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
but
I just have this, and I know my listeners do as well. It's just this fascination with the crypto space, because it's like anything. If you don't know the whole story, you want to know more. It's like it's like Making a Murder on Netflix. We don't know we don't know the whole story, but I binge watched all those episodes in within 24 hours, right?
yeah,
This is like
right.
crypto space. I want to know more. And for me, it's like, how do you find the good information versus if you Google it, it's just going to come up with a hell of a lot of bad news.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Even
Great time
dedicated
to
crypto
plug your
journalists.
YouTube here.
Yeah, sure, right. I would say start with MineYourBiz. So the two possessives, MineYour.biz.
There we go.
So that's the springboard for all of the other media channels. But yeah, I'd say if you do Google or even DuckDuckGo, if you're a privacy fan,
Mm-hmm.
if you use a search to find any kind of crypto news, yeah, it's going to be depressing, and you're going to find a mixed bag, even with the dedicated crypto news outlets. I've dealt with several of the journalists in that space, and while some of them are well-meaning, they're paid to sell clicks. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and bad news sells better than good, and
yeah.
even in the crypto world.
Oh yeah, especially in the crypto world, right?
Yeah, I was about to say probably more in the crypto world actually.
Yeah,
It's
unregulated market. You could go in there and say, "Oh no, the sky is falling," and behind them, some guy worth worth $10 billion, literally,
yeah.
is saying, "All right, sweet, I just acquired whatever, more of my portfolio at pennies on the dollar."
But that's effectively one of the things that happened in 2017, wasn't it? It was lots of rich as in Bitcoin rich, dropped and sold coins and made the market just go crazy.
Yes, and as an unregulated security at that time, rather as a largely unregulated market anyway. Yeah, there was nobody to stop them, and there frankly still isn't.
No, I would just love to have been, I just imagine there's like this WhatsApp group or the secret group, like a Telegram group or whatever, of all the the richest Bitcoin people in there going, right, we're gonna fuck this up this year. Let's just sell everything. And then when it drops, we'll buy it all back.
It's probably almost exactly as you described, and they probably speak about it in exactly those terms.
Exactly. Yeah. When we get those guys on, and it's like there's not a face, it's just a question mark. And it's like, hey man, let's talk about that. But Seth, listen, I really thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. Look, my last question to you is, if you could give 3 tips for anyone that could use blockchain within their business or that sort of topic, what would those be?
The top tip would be to get involved in Bitcoin, regardless of price action. Don't be concerned about price action, and just get involved, learn to understand it, period. Because the price, if you look at it, will give you a heart attack. That's number one. Number 2 would be, if you're interested in business and business functions, pay attention to what the Overstock.com family of companies, rather the Medici group.
Mm-hmm.
They're an investment group that funded Overstock.com and then funded a cryptocurrency project called Raven Coin. Pay attention to what they're developing, because it may affect some of your business functions, and you may be able to adopt their code base into your business functions sometime in the next 12 to 18 months. So if you're a business person trying to build a platform, they have really great boilerplate for you to start with.
Brilliant.
And then the third tip would be, if you have further questions and you want to build out infrastructure, hire a good consultant.
And that brings me on to my last question. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, Seth, what is the best way for them to do that?
Best way would be to contact me directly at MineYourBiz@protonmail.com.
There we go. Biz spelled B-I-Z.
Correct.
Because you're trendy and you're hip and you're cool. And just the last point I just want to point out is that Seth's business has got the word genius in. So, if you're dealing with anyone, you should be dealing with Seth.
Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind, Steven.
No, Seth, thank you so much for coming on Founders 365. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm sure you will get a few questions from everyone.
Thanks so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks everyone for watching and listening. This has been Founders 365.